My plan, I'm going to stub off that with a piece of PEX. We will put in a PEX elbow right here just because that's too much of a bend to go from that fitting there and tuck it in the space here between the gas pipe and that joist. So by putting this elbow exactly where we need it, we could direct the pipe right in that space there. And then this is a valve with a bleeder on it, and the idea with this is that when I shut this thing off in the wintertime, I could take the cap off here. We could drain the leg of pipe between the valve outside and obviously this valve here to prevent it from freezing. This bleeder has to be oriented like this, obviously, so when we shut the valve off, the bleeder could work. Because I got a piece of PEX here. Cut this right here, I think. I think that's a good spot for it. What that'll allow me to do is I put this elbow on. Now I can get a measurement. A little small piece of PEX. 2.5 inches. Put it over your pipe. Take your fitting, make sure it's nested on the pipe completely. And these things are great. You just come in here now with your crimper tool. Make sure it's in the right spot. You want to back off the edge of the pipe ever so slightly. And now, squeeze her on. Alright, and you know you got it on there good because this thing won't open up unless you have a good crimp. We can get this thing in here. Let's see. Up on there like that. Then, tight quarters, man, tight quarters. But that's it. We got that. Now, make sure we put this in the right way. This valve has to go like this. This guy. That, and obviously for now we want to shut that off. Our PEX adapter to go from sweat to PEX, short little piece of PEX elbow, and that runs down and we have our valve in. I'm gonna go turn the water on and hopefully we don't have any leaks. Alright, the moment of truth. I still have the valves open in the sinks throughout the house to bleed the air out. We'll crank this on. Alright. Now, I mentioned this in some of my other videos. Whenever you guys turn valves on, don't turn it all the way on tight. Back it off just ever so slightly. That way it won't get stuck in the on position. Turn on the hot water yet. I didn't show you guys this on video, but I did shut this off before too. Turn it on nice and slow. Looks like we don't have any leaks, which is absolutely fantastic. We got to drill 2 holes. We got to bring our hot out. Hot goes on the left, cold goes on the right. So we got to drill them big enough to get a piece of 3/4 PEX out. General rule for shower valves is they get installed between 42 and 48 inches off the ground or off the floor. Okay, so 48 inches from our deck. This guy is going to wind up somewhere around here. All right, so imagine that's right in the middle on the wall. I'm going to take 2 PEX elbows up on the top there as well and install them like that. Probably a little closer with this guy, maybe like a 2-inch piece of PEX between both those fittings, and then those will both run down the wall of the house and in. Alright, and that's basically it. And then the top of the valve obviously goes to our shower head, and these valves are nice because you can either sweat them or you could thread a fitting on them like that. If you're not too familiar with the shower valve, hot comes in on the left, cold comes in on the right. The upper part is your shower leg, and this is your tub fitting. I am going to be putting a tub spout in here, which might seem kind of strange, but the idea with that is you could use it like a foot bath in here also. Alright, so after all those are on, Go ahead and get your thread sealant and be generous on the threads. If you do end up sweating one of these shower valves together, you want to pull this retainer clip out here. This happens to be a Moen valve. So you'd pull this retainer clip out, and then you could pull all the guts out of this valve. All right, because you don't want to be cooking the seals inside this, the rubber seals. You will ruin it. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, I think we're good. So with those all cut, let's see what we end up with here. Something like that. Can't really make them any shorter because you got to leave space in here for the barbs and the fittings to engage into the pipe fully. So the main reason why I wanted to mock this up is I could take this out back now, flip these, and I can hold it up against the house like this so I can get the exact location down near the deck to drill my holes into the house. That way when we go to mount this thing and flip these around, obviously, bring our pipe down, everything will be nice and straight and perpendicular, plumb, whatever the hell you want to call it, down to those holes, and it'll look good. Alright, so for this, we obviously want the shower valve to end up in the middle of the enclosure here. So to get our midpoint here, we have to get a measurement between our two posts. We have 32 3/4. Half of 32 is 16, half of 3/4 is 3/8. There. And so we take a shower valve. We should be able to hold this thing right in the middle there. And obviously we're going to have to lower these. That would be it right there. Keep in mind, like I said, we're going to be drilling these probably closer to down here. So we'll bring strike a line down to the bottom here, closer to the deck. Our hot and our cold will be nice and straight right down to the decking. It'll look nice. Let's go nice and slow here. Whenever I'm drilling these holes, I like to hold back on the drill a little bit instead of letting the bit pull it through, only because you never know, if you start hitting something, you feel some resistance, you could pull the drill back right away and stop it, rather than drilling right through whatever the heck you're hitting. That's why you hear me kind of goosing it. It sounds like the battery's going dead. It's not. It's just me working the trigger. Pipe here, let's see if we can get it through. There we go. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Now we can, when it comes through there, we can secure it up to the bottom of the joist. All right, so there's the cold. We just got to stub the hot through. Let me go out there and do that. So I'm going to keep these long. We'll do our valve connections, and then we'll push that whole thing into the wall, and then we can cut it to the length we need down in the basement. I'm going to start by putting these elbows onto the stub outs. I think that's a factory factory edge, so it's always good to cut that off. Start with a nice clean edge. Something like that. Same thing with this one. Clamp. And fitting. So make sure those are nested nice. That isn't a factory edge because I see a little mark there where I cut it. Okay, there's one. Let's do this one. There's two. So those will go like that. So I'm going to rough cut now the risers up to the shower valve. Again, shower valve is anywhere from 42 to 48 inches. Did a little bit of measuring up there, and I think 42 looks good. Cut this one here for now. So you can see, I don't know if this gets picked up too well on the camera, I made a hash mark here in the center of the opening, and this one is 42 inches off the deck. And then on the back of the shower valve you can see they put crosshairs, and that's to match that up exactly at the height you want it. Obviously we want to level this thing out. There, looks good. That like that now. That'll fit in there nice. Work this thing into shape if you can. Clamp that on there. And this one, let's see if we can tilt it down like this. Alright. That. Now go like that. We just got to go up top, make our connections to the valve. Okay, so I think right there. I think right there. We'll find out in a second. Now we move this valve down a little bit. Not the end of the world. I need you over here just pushing this like that. Technical assistant right now, right? On this side we can do the same thing. Hold that right there a second. This job you need 10 sets of hands. Okay. Excellent. Come over here and push it that way. Just like that. A little less. Right there. Got it? Same thing for this one now. Okay, thank you. Yep. Okay, so for those, they want to pull off the fittings and not be, I don't know, square on the fitting if you want to call it that. So I had my daughter help me push that up into place so they stayed exactly where I wanted them while I was cinching the clamps down. This thing's kind of on an angle, but that's because we got to get some clamps on these pipes to hold them where we want them. This has got to wind up back like this now. The clamps that they have for PEX aren't really all that good for an exposed surface like this. So what I found is probably going to work the best is just conduit straps, 1/2 inch. So a 1/2 inch conduit strap works perfect on a 3/4 piece of PEX. I might need her help one more time. She's going to be mad at me. She's doing things. So what I want to do here is I want this pipe to be nice and straight. So I just need you to pull that over for me while I'm doing this. It's one. It's good. Maybe you want to be a plumber now instead. No? You don't like this? Hey, you make a lot of money. Okay. Yeah, I think I could do the rest. Thank you. Shower head to be 7 feet, a little bit higher than we usually put it, but I'm tall, and I don't like when I'm using the showers when I have to be, you know, hunched over, wash my hair. So I always put my shower rough in at 7 feet. All right, so now we need a piece of PEX from top of the shower valve up to that, and we will put in one of our droppier elbows on the top here. All right, this is 3/4 PEX by 1/2 inch female thread, so we can screw our shower head arm into it. As far as this thing goes, the tub spout, again, this is going to be for just rinsing off your feet. Figured this thing would be good for filling up 5-gallon buckets if you ever have to for things, so I want to get a bucket. Yeah, it's just, you know, a minor detail, but I figured this would be a good thing to have here. Yeah, just in case. So let's see if this is going to look stupid if this thing was up this high. So I would need to put this then like here. And mount it right here. So another 3/4 PEX by 1/2 inch drop ear elbow. We'll go right here. Alright, what do you think, guys? Did I do alright? I think I did okay. Real happy with the way that looks. It's about as good as ever going to get with PEX. Alright guys, let's get the rest of this valve together. You have this trim piece that goes over the valve body. You have this stop collar that goes inside that. And you also have this piece, and what this is, this throttles the upper limit temperature of the shower valve. So basically it controls how hot the water can get. I'm not going to put this on here today. I'm going to keep it though. If I find the need to down the road, I will. And then you have this adapter here. This is what the handle attaches to. And it works with the stop to allow the lever to work correctly. Just a screw down the middle of that. And the last piece, I'm going to add this set screw to keep the handle on. That's it. Handle's done. Shower head arm that we got to put on here. The trick with this, you take your pump pliers and you can use them as leverage to spin this thing around if you need to get one extra turn out of it. One thing you never want to do is take the pliers and grab onto this thing like that, because you will scratch it all up. I'm just going to add a shower head on here. Last but not least, our tub spout. Go too crazy with your wrenches. You can always come back later and tighten this stuff up if you have to. And this you got to be real careful with, because threads on this thing sometimes can strip out real easily. So just make sure you have it lined up right before you start twisting it on. All right. that's it. So aside from obviously having walls on this thing, I think we can officially call it a shower now. Alright guys, back down here in the basement. You saw the video start off with me working on the hot side of the plumbing. Basically all I did off camera, section of pipe that runs out to the shower. Went ahead and connected that to our shut-off valve in here. For the cold side, had some PEX that I previously had ran for another job. Added a T to it right there, an elbow, brought it over. Added another shut-off valve, and again, section of pipe that runs out to the shower. Alright, so now what these are is our point of shut-off for the cold season. Shut the valves, open up those two bleeders, and we could drain the whole section of pipe, whole outside section, into this area here. Put a bucket down here, catch all the water, and we never have to worry about anything cracking or getting damaged outside. So the water's on in the house. Let's give it the maiden voyage. What do you think, Elena? Did it work? Moose on my tools here. Now we're gonna get out of the way. Let's give the shower a whirl. Yeah, that's awesome. Got hot water. Feel it?
Huh? Let's take a shower now, Daddy.
Yeah, yeah. Is it warm?
Yeah.
Alright, that means it works. Alright guys, aside from the dirt up on there, everything is looking awesome. Works. And I think the only thing I gotta do is I gotta pop that flow restrictor out of that shower head up there because it was really necking down the flow here. I can actually hear the water being restricted up in there, so definitely gonna pull that thing out. But yeah. Working great. Looking really good. Let's go underneath here. We can see our water all going down towards the drain. That's working out awesome actually. Looks like the majority of the water is actually falling through the deck boards, which is what I was hoping for. None of it's really rolling over the side, so it is all falling on the slab, and it should be all rolling out to the drywall that we installed in one of the previous videos. So I love it when a plan comes together. Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to wrap up the plumbing segment of the outdoor shower. Next up, we're going to work on the enclosure and the gate, which is going to be the door to get into this thing. We got to finish building the railing over here, and we have to put a light in up here. I have some plans to do something else up here too, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Any comments or questions, post them down below. Hammer that like button, and as always, thank you for watching.